Welcome to Sports Visions. I'm DJ Jones alongside my good friend and traveling partner, Dale Williams. How are you, sir?
What's up, player?
Hey, man, it is the South oldest rivalry. We're on the campus of Auburn University. We're in the Auburn Arena because it's so cold outside, 40 degrees outside, and of course, game time conditions are expected to be the same. But we're in the Auburn Arena. It's basketball season. The Auburn Tigers and Bruce Pearl have started out 2-0, and of course, a lot of exciting basketball to be seen this season on behalf of Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers.
I'm looking forward to seeing Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers. DJ, they had a great run last year, and I think really they're going to continue this year and have a great season.
Coming up in just a little bit, we'll break down the Auburn-Georgia game as well as a whole lot more. Coming up next in Sports Visions.
We're honored to have you on campus for the official visit.
Aflac.
Coach Saban, how is Aflac's program different from health insurance?
Well, Aflac gives you money directly for things health insurance doesn't cover.
Aflac.
We put together a little highlight reel for you. Here's Aflac helping you with your deductible, co-pays, out-of-pocket cost.
You look good paying bills.
Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover. Get to know us at aflac.com.
For all of your tire and service needs, be sure to visit Complete Tire and Service, 3109 Victory Drive in Columbus. For your convenience, we have a 20,000 square foot state-of-the-art building, premium environment to the customer. For workstations, Wi-Fi, we carry Bridgestone, Firestone, Falcon, and Continental. Our managers have over 125 combined years in the industry. We have 24/7 commercial roadside assistance, DOT inspections, complete automotive services. Our phone number is 706-940-0982. Be sure to visit Complete Tire and Service, 706-940-0982. Welcome back to Sports Vision, Dale. Local high school football, obviously it's round 2 of the playoffs in Alabama, round 1 of the playoffs in the state of Georgia. And I know that we want to give a big shout out to Hardaway and Carver, of course, coming out of there. Brookstone in class in the public school side, but on the Alabama side, obviously the Central Red Devils are trying to repeat their quest for a state championship.
They're on a quest, DJ, and really, like you said last year, they're trying to repeat, DJ, and I think that one of the biggest things they have as a goal is to win another state championship.
And winning a state championship is not going to be an easy task. I know that obviously the Central Red Devils have taken care of business for the last 10 weeks, of course, including the regular season. Winning the first round of the playoffs, of course, now having an opportunity to go up against Prattville.
I mean, Prattville, again, DJ, when you start repeating the games and playing another team, the same team, twice in the same year, that is really a tough task to have, DJ, but I think really Central's going to be able to take care of it.
But also on the Alabama side, I want to give a big shout out to, of course, Opelika and Auburn. They both advanced and had the opportunity to, of course, play their way in for state championship. However, somebody's going to get lucky, I think, this year. I think somebody other than Central will advance deep into the playoffs.
Really in the same region that Central is in, you got Auburn, you got Opelika, DJ, and then you got Prattville that you have to play again during that season. It's going to be a tough road for Central, but I think really Jamie DuBose has all his guys ready to play, ready, locked and loaded, and ready to do what they did last year.
Well, we're only about 4 weeks away from our 12th annual high school football awards luncheon, Dale, and I know that I'm getting anxious, of course, and I know the players and the coaches are looking forward to it. The ones that are in the playoffs, I know that they have their minds on their business, but there's a lot of teams that are sitting home now waiting on their invitation to the awards luncheon.
Well, DJ, they're waiting for that invitation, but I think one of the biggest things that we can say, for everybody that didn't make it to the playoff, but like you said, DJ, they'll be waiting for their invitation to our 12th annual Sports Vision High School Award Luncheon, and every year is a great year, DJ, and I think we got some, we're going to have a lot of good players this year, and I think everybody will be excited.
All right, well, this is what we want you to do. If you want to be a part of it or help us to, of course, coordinate this historic event, we'll be, of course, Thursday, December the 12th, 11:30 at St. Luke Ministry Center. Of course, that'll be 11:30. Downtown Atlanta. If you want to call and make some reservations, whether you want a table, whether you want to be a sponsor, Call me at 706-681-1136 or Dale at 706-681-5192.
There you go, DJ. You got 26 high schools, 26 coaches, corporate community. Everybody will be there. Friends, family. One of the best banquets that you'll go to this year.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to talk about the SEC report.
Hello, everybody. I'm DJ Jones. You might know me from my athletic career at Carver High School, University of Georgia, or my sports broadcasting career. I know a lot of people, but when it comes to an attorney I trust, I call Forrest B. Johnson.
I'm Forrest Johnson of Forrest B. Johnson and Associates. And I want to let you know how proud we are to be a part of your community, a part of the Columbus community and the Phoenix, Alabama community. Consider us first. When you or any member of your family has been involved in an automobile accident, remember, car wreck, get a check.
Call now, 706-223-5380.
Should planning your travel be more stressful than staying at home? Of course not. Here at Lumpkin Travel, our VIP service makes traveling easy and fun. Girls Trip! We've helped serve thousands of people and families experience their dream vacation by taking the hassle out of travel.
Thank you.
We book your flight, reserve your hotel, and make sure you have a stress-free vacation so you can enjoy every moment of it.
Thank you.
We even help you choose different activities that you're guaranteed to enjoy. And the best part is, we find you the best price at no extra charge for you. Actually, 95% of customers save money and time by booking with Lumpkin Travel. So start thinking about your dream vacation. Wherever you want to go, whatever you want to do, we'll make it happen for you. As easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today or log on and set up your vacation of a lifetime with Lumpkin Travel, your travel agent for life.
Gear up for fall at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Welcome back to Sports Vision. It's now time for our SEC report brought to you by our good friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Dale, we talked about it, the world's largest, or at least the world's oldest rivalry in the South. Auburn, Georgia. Auburn, depends on what side of the tracks you're on. But, you know, this is a game that you and I both had an opportunity to play in. And, you know what, there's no love lost. But at the same time, we're supposedly have some kind of a kinship because so many great Georgia coaches and players have crossed the line and gone over to Auburn the same way with Auburn coaching and players coming over to Georgia.
You know, really, DJ, we always talk about the relationships that are forged between Georgia guys, Georgia women, Auburn guys, Auburn women. I mean, really, it's a great thing. I mean, it's almost like we're kissing cousins almost until we play on that Saturday. And one of the biggest things that we always talk about, DJ, it is the South's oldest rivalry.
That indeed, and of course, believe it or not, Dale, that you know, Georgia has gotten the best in the last 20 years. Georgia has won at least 16 of these games. And, you know, it doesn't seem that way, but you know, it is a rivalry. And again, when you talk about the numbers and how far it goes back over 100 years, you know, those numbers balance out. However, right now is the most important time for the Georgia Bulldogs to get another win, because as of right now, they control their destiny. They have to win out to get to where they want to go.
You know, this year, DJ, has been a kind of crazy year, but I think one of the biggest things that we can tell, you know, we always talk about winning ugly. And I think really you want the flash and the dash, you want it to be all sexy and everything exciting, but really, as long as you can win these games, especially these SEC games, it doesn't matter how you win, how many points you win it by, as long as you win it, I think that's going to be really an indicator this whole week. I mean, for as Auburn is concerned, the best two-loss team in the country, DJ, and then you got to go against Georgia. If Georgia wins out, you know, they can control their own destiny. So it's going to be a very interesting game.
Interesting indeed. It's two of the very best defenses, not just in the Southeastern Conference in America. These both in Georgia, University of Georgia hasn't allowed a rushing touchdown, which is unheard of in these parts. But again, you know, the offensive side of things, we know that if Gus is successful on the offensive side, he has to establish a running game against a very, very stingy defense that the Bulldogs have put on the field this year. And of course, on the other side of that, you know, we saw a different Georgia team against Florida, and we have been seeing a very vanilla team, a ground and pound team up until that point. And I hope that we will see that some semblance of the Florida Georgia matchup, meaning as far as Georgia's offense against Auburn, that they played against Florida, where they showed some versatility, they showed some explosiveness. Of course, they showed some imagination, and some separation, and that's what's going to happen because you got a couple of guys, Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson. These are two of the best defensive linemen in America, and two of the best. They're all Americans already. A lot of them have made a lot of the postseason award lists as far as being the best at their position. But Dale, these are two young men that obviously the University of Georgia is not going to be able to push them around.
They're not going to be able to push them around, DJ. I think really with anything they can kind of ground and pound a little bit and try to get these big guys tired, DJ. But one of the biggest things that we haven't talked about, DJ, is that Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator for the Auburn Tigers, they have a very good defense, and they have a good enough defense that they'll be able to shut down the whole Georgia offense. But I think one of the big things about it is that if any kind of explosiveness can't be developed from Georgia or get from Georgia, they're going to need every bit of it.
Well, again, when you're talking about explosiveness, we're talking about a couple of receivers that have really, Lawrence Cager has broken out in a big way, and of course he has battled some shoulder injuries, but again, this time of year, who hasn't had an injury or two? And when you talk about George Pickens is now not the freshman that he once was early in the season. He has some experience, he has performed in some big games, and he's made some big catches, and I know that it's going to take those two guys, and particularly for Georgia to have a chance to beat Auburn, these two guys have to have some good production.
They have to have some production, DJ, and I think one of the biggest things that we've always talked about is from the offensive standpoint, the running game. DeAndre Swift, he's going to do a good job. Brian Herring, he's going to do a very good job, but I think you got to have some balance. Jake Fromm got to manage the ball like he's usually been managing, DJ, and really, I think, slowly but ugly, we're going to have an ugly rock'em sock'em robot football game.
It'll be interesting to see how Auburn's freshman quarterback, Bo Nix, performs in this game. I know he's played in several big games on the road, but this is South's oldest rivalry, Dale. It's a different atmosphere with Auburn, Georgia, but the thing about it, he's going to have his fans behind him, so if Auburn somehow gets up early, they'll be noisy, but I'm thinking that the Dogs are going to take control of this crowd by jumping out in front of them on the scoreboard so that they can keep Auburn's crowd quiet.
I mean, really, DJ, I think that's going to be the plan, to get off to a good start. And if Georgia gets off to a good start and their defense playing lights out like they usually have been this whole year, it's going to be a very interesting game in the same respect. But I think really in rivalry games and the Georgia-Auburn game, I mean, really, it'll go down to the buzzer.
Let's talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide, deal. Obviously, last week going up against LSU, had took it under the chin. But you know what? You can't you have to give all the credit in the world to Nick Saban and his team because they fought to the last tick on the clock, man. And again, LSU is phenomenal, but Alabama and what they were able to do with I guess at least 75% Tua, he wasn't himself. But at the same time, he was performing and he gave those explosive plays. Devontae Smith and Jerry Jeudy, and I mean, these guys are phenomenal.
They are, DJ, and I think really, Tua did a great job. He still has the best receivers in the country, but I think one of the biggest things that we saw was that the display of Joe Burrow, how good he played throughout the whole game. I mean, really, I think he won the Heisman Trophy on last Saturday, DJ, and I think really just being flawless as he was. I mean, he was executing here and there and everywhere, DJ. So I think really LSU did a good job, but I think Alabama is still in the top 4, DJ, and I think they're going to be in the conversation because one of the biggest things about they're still good, man.
They are still good, but as far as I'm concerned, when you talk about the top 4 or 5, as I would put it, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to do the same, and I know this has nothing to do with the official college football committee has to say, but from being my eyes, what I've seen, LSU obviously is number 1, Ohio State's number 2. You know what? When you talk about that number 3 spot, Dale, I'm gonna give it to Clemson because obviously they haven't played everybody as well as everybody wanted them to play. But
right.
Number 3, the Clemson Tigers, and this is where I'm going to be the home. The University of Georgia is going to be plugged right at that 4th spot, man, because I think that what they show the world after this Auburn game, they're going to belong there. And again, it's their game to lose.
That's right. I mean, really, I think, with your top 4, DJ, I can see that top 4 being after the game, after Georgia get through playing Auburn. If they win, they're able to defeat Auburn, I will put them definitely in the top 4. But I think really just right now, LSU is definitely the best college out there right now. And then you got Ohio State playing very good football, and you got Clemson. You got to put Clemson in there for the fact, DJ, and the mere fact that they won the championship last year and they're still good this year. And then I'll put Alabama at 4. I'll put Alabama at 4 because really, even with Tua, with the team that they do have, they play very good football. They just got beat by an LSU team.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our Chick-fil-A picks of the week.
All right, our Chick-fil-A picks of the week, we got Alabama against Mississippi State, Auburn against Georgia, LSU will play Ole Miss, Clemson will play Wake Forest, Michigan State will play Michigan, Oklahoma will go against Baylor, and Utah will play UCLA.
For all of your tire and service needs, be sure to visit Complete Tire and Service, 3109 Victory Drive in Columbus. For your convenience, we have a 20,000 square foot state-of-the-art building, premium environment to the customer. For workstations, Wi-Fi, we carry Bridgestone, Firestone, Falcon, and Continental. Our managers have over 125 combined years in the industry. We have 24/7 commercial roadside assistance, DOT inspections, complete automotive services. Our phone number is 706-940-0982. Be sure to visit Complete Tire and Service, 706-940-0982.
We think you would really shine in the Aflac program.
Aflac.
Coach Saban, we have health insurance.
Did health insurance pay for everything?
No, we still have bills.
Aflac gives you money directly to help with those.
Aflac.
And your deductibles, knee brace, whatever you choose.
Aflac sounds like a winner.
We try.
Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover. Get to know us at aflac.com.
You, me, a little time is all it takes to make us smile. It's better when we get together. Me, myself, and I, we can get along just fine. It's better when we get together.
Are you 21 and older? Do you have a passport? If so, here's your chance to enter to win a free 4-day, 3-night, all-inclusive stay for 2 to the Live Aqua Beach Resort in Cancun, Mexico, courtesy of PMB Broadcasting, Sports Visions Radio, and Lumpkin Travel Services. All you have to do is register at the following local businesses in Columbus and Phoenix City: Complete Tire Services, Forrest B. Johnson and Associates, Headquarter Nissan, Academy Sports and Outdoors, and German Food Gifts, and more. We'll be picking 2 lucky qualifiers per week from sponsor locations for 6 weeks, each Monday and Thursday on the Sports Visions radio show to win a Cancun Sports Visions prize package. The lucky grand prize giveaway winner will be announced during Sports Visions radio show on November 14th. What are you waiting for? Register to win today.
And welcome back to Sports Visions Deal. It's now time for our Atlanta Falcon report and, of course, some updates on the NFL, man. I am pleased to say that the Atlanta Falcons deal has a victory under their belt, and they beat their arch rival, a team that's playing very well, and they did it on the road.
They did it on the road, DJ, and they played the best game that they played all year. I think one of the biggest things that we talked about last week, even with the off week, was like, okay, wouldn't it be just crazy if they beat the New Orleans Saints? And I think really when you play a rival game like the Falcons did on Sunday, they did a great job. They played the best game of the year.
Man, I tell you what, people were going crazy when Dan Quinn redid his staff. Raheem Morris came over from the offensive side and went back to his specialty as defensive backs. Of course, he juggled around a couple other coaches, but in the middle of the season, obviously, after starting 1-7, to come back and see that defense perform at a high level, obviously, Dan Quinn did something that was right.
I mean, he made some adjustments and, changed his coaching staff around. DJ did a great job for us communicating with his defensive guys. The defense has played lights out, and I think really just for Matt Ryan coming back, being rested, and really seeing how the offensive firepower came back, DJ, it was very interesting to see the Atlanta Falcons do what they did.
Absolutely. Now, again, here it is, the halfway point of the season, and they came out and made some adjustments. Now, if Falcons can continue with some consistency behind that big victory, and it was just not a victory, it was a huge victory because they were playing one of the top teams in not just their division, but one of the top teams in the NFL deal. And, again, to hold New Orleans without a touchdown, with Drew Brees back there, the first ballot All-American, first ballot Hall of Famer,
right?
that was extraordinary.
I mean, really, it was big, DJ, and I think really, they did it handsomely. I mean, really, the way that they did it, DJ, was like they did it very easy. The defense played good. Grady Jarrett and those guys played out their mind. I think on the defensive side of the ball, they really stood up. And I think when you can stop Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints, you did a great job.
Great job indeed. Some injuries, though, that concern me as we move forward. Devontae Freeman, once again, is on the shelf. Ito Smith, running back, of course, who was backing up Devontae. He's been placed on IR. And again, a couple of other injuries here. AZ, the safety, of course, he went down, and hopefully he'll be able to come back. But Dale, that's the main thing right now, again, for everybody, maintaining their health on the backside of this schedule. And then that's the team that'll obviously, as you like to say, the team that gets hot this time of year, the team that you look to see in the playoffs.
That's what you want to see in the playoff, DJ. And I think really, if the Falcons can continue, and this would even make things even crazy, just win all their division games, DJ. And I think really playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, being able to play the Carolina Panthers, they can sweep these guys. And then at the same time, they're losing too, and you might can get to 8-8. That would be good.
Absolutely. Now, of course, some of the other intriguing stories in the National Football League, Dale. When you think about what's been going on, of course, the 49ers just took it under the chin. Russell Wilson, who is obviously leading the MVP as far as the individual best player or the most valuable player in the league as of right now, he was able to, of course, do something that no team has been able to do up to this point, and that was to knock off the 49ers.
I mean, when they knocked them off, DJ, but I think really we saw how good the Seattle Seahawks can be too, and Russell Wilson, what he's doing. And right now, he's got to be in the top 3, DJ, of being who's the MVP of the year. But I think really, if you want to see this guy, see a guy that really finishes a game, all you got to do is go, just watch Russell Wilson. And I think what he did against the 49ers, I mean, hey, really, you knew that he had it, DJ. He's a guy that can end games.
This quarterback thing has just been the story, and it's been, of course, very, very intriguing because, again, Lamar Jackson, the dual threat quarterback, the guy who actually can run when he has to run, but he still can throw from the pocket. Another phenomenal week for him.
I mean, another one, DJ, and I think Lamar Jackson, he is the number one guy. He is the MVP right now, but really, just to see all the things that he can do, he can throw the ball, he can run the ball, and really the likes of Michael Vick, I mean, really, everybody thought there would not be another Michael Vick, but this guy is a little quicker than Michael Vick, DJ, but really he's a good quarterback, and I think he's proven to everybody that he is a good quarterback.
And for those folks who are looking at you like you're crazy, Michael Vick himself said that he thinks that Lamar Jackson is a little bit more explosive, of course, on his first 2 steps than he was. So that's a big difference. Again, that's getting out of the phone booth, with no time to waste. But I'm happy for this young man because, again, a lot of folks, and you might forget, but at the same time, just a couple of years ago at the Combine, you had some scouts actually asking him to line up and work out as a wide receiver.
They were trying to do that, DJ, but really we've been talking about this whole football season, that quarterbacks, that their dual threat quarterbacks are trendy. And the Lamar Jacksons of the world, the Russell Wilsons of the world, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got guys, and don't forget Deshaun Watson. These guys are dual threat quarterbacks. They're making an impact on their team. You got to get you a dual threat quarterback now, DJ.
Absolutely, Dale, but there's some other teams. The Cowboys lost another one. I don't know, but it wasn't because of Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott played a hell of a game, but the Cowboys are finding themselves on the losing side again. What is it going to take to get these guys back to winning ways?
I think that really, everybody keep talking about getting rid of Jason Garrett and doing this and doing that. They have the personnel, DJ, but they just don't close out games. Dak Prescott is doing his job. Ezekiel Elliott, he's doing their job. I mean, you got these guys, Amari Cooper. They got players, DJ, but for some reason they're not finishing games.
Well, I know another person that obviously is a story in the NFL is John Gruden, man. Again, people were dog cussing him at the beginning of the season. He went through the Antonio Brown saga in the offseason, but you know what? This is a pretty doggone good football team.
It's a very good team, DJ, and I think really they're getting better and better as the season progresses. I think they're going to be real good in the future. But I think really they can slip in the back door as a wild card, DJ, if they take care of some of those wins in their own division.
Mike Tomlin with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This might be his very best coaching job ever, Bill. He doesn't have AB, he doesn't have Big Ben, and of course they got rid of their all-world running back, and he's winning with some young guys, man. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, they got Fitzpatrick,
Micah Fitzpatrick in a trade that everybody thought was crazy, but Micah Fitzpatrick, since he's been there, they hadn't lost, and Micah Fitzpatrick has more interceptions than the entire Miami Dolphins team right now.
That's right, DJ, and really, you know, like you said, man, Mike Tomlin is doing a great job, you know, winning with what he's got. I think, you know, Big Ben's not there. AB is finally gone. They got a lot of good players, DJ, and I think really one thing that you have to look at when you start looking at your whole program is that you got to look at, okay, we got to make sure these guys, we coach these guys up, and Mike Tomlin does a great job coaching these guys up.
Again, he has not gotten the credit that he deserves, and certainly after winning with who he's winning with and how he's winning, man, without these high-dollar players, that tells you a whole lot. Hey, don't touch that dial. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is Sports Visions. Hello, everybody. I'm DJ Jones.
And I'm Dale Williams.
Get ready for Thursday, December the 12th. Save that date because the 12th annual Sports Visions High School Football Awards Luncheon will be in town. And that's going to be at 11:30 on that Thursday, December the 12th at the St. Luke Ministry Center.
11:30 sharp. Be there. 26 of the top high schools in the Chattahoochee Valley area. 9 counties represented. 52 players, the top players in the Chattahoochee Valley area.
And what does Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney, Kirby Smart, Gus Malzahn, what do they all have in common? They've been speakers in our past high school football awards luncheon. Who's going to be the speaker this year? We're going to release that information real soon.
All right, that'll be December 12th. Sports Vision High School Football Award Luncheon, and again, one of the top award luncheon shows in town.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rosalind Murray. I'm the owner of Roz Cafe and Catering Services. I'm open 7 days a week for catering and only on Sundays for dinner. So you can come in on Sundays only to pick up your delicious meal. I'm a one-stop shop for all your catering needs for weddings, pastor anniversaries, corporate events, family reunions, anything you need catering for. Call me at 706-992-6106. Thank you.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been real Southwest. And we're proud of it. It's in our name after all. And we've always been real people, using real Southwest flavors, making real Southwest eats. And we've always built every burrito right on the line, fresh, just for you. Real, fresh Southwest. Welcome to Moe's.
And welcome back to Sports Visions, and it's now time for our Where Are They Now segment. And of course, we started this segment about 3-4 weeks ago. And of course, going back into the Chattahoochee Valley, bringing back some of the great names and some of the great people who have made an impact here. And of course, we're proud to have with us today my coach, my mentor, and he was the best man in my wedding years ago, Coach Wallace Davis. How you doing, man?
It's always good to be here with you and on your show, Sports Vision. It's just a pleasure.
Hey, man, just proud to have you. It's been a while since we've had an opportunity just to sit down on camera, although we get together occasionally and have lunch. But just glad to have you here to talk about you and some of the great things, obviously, that you have done. A lot of folks out there want to know, what you got going on now. But we'll walk them through that. But first and foremost, Coach, let's just start in the beginning. You were a star football player at Spencer High School, at Lincoln University in the early 60s, and you even had an opportunity to play professional football. Go ahead and expound on your early beginnings.
Well, my early beginning of sports started at Carver Junior High School. That was the first year they started football at a junior high school. The coach that I had was B.T. Foltz, and he was a great leader, a great teacher, and a great person that you can gain inspiration from. He started football at Carver. I happened to be in that group when he first started football at Carver Junior High School. And from that point on, my third year, which was my 9th grade year, I was made the captain of the football team. And as strange as it seemed, the position he put me in was a position I really thought that I should have been in another position. He made a tackle out of me when I thought I should have been a running back. But nevertheless, if I was good enough to be a captain and playing tackle, that was enough to let me know that this man probably had more vision than I had. I went on to high school after my 9th grade year and started football at Spencer, where I started as a sophomore, my first year on the team.
What year was that, Coach?
That was 19 59 school year, 1959-60. I was a starter at a defensive lineman spot. And then from that point on, I started at offensive guard. My junior year and my senior year, I made all GIA state. At that time, it was a black GIA and the GHSA was white. So by the schools not being integrated at that time, I ended up being an all-state player for the Georgia Intercollegiate Athletic Association. And that they had an all-star game at the time in Atlanta, and it was just something to let you know during that period of time that sports for blacks was just as strong as the sports for whites.
We're talking about in the 60s now, Coach, and after high school and all the great things that you did in high school, you went on to become a star and recently named Hall of Famer at Lincoln University.
Well, that caught me by surprise. I went to Lincoln thinking that I was going to be that running back, one of the fastest players on the team, but the coach told me, he said, young man, I know you want to play running back. He said, but I can't find a player that could play that position any better than you, so you just going to have to stay there. And fortunate enough, I was able to make all Midwest Conference, a conference with Tennessee State, Kentucky State, Central State, and Lincoln University. We all were in what you call the Midwest Athletic Conference. During that period of time, our defense led the nation in rushing defense. We were by Pittsburgh Courier at the time. You still had this situation where schools weren't integrated, although we played a real strong integrated conference. We played Tennessee State, we played Florida A&M, we played Southern Illinois University, we played Arkansas A&M, and we played Central State, Kentucky State, Langston, and that conference for 4 years was one of the best conferences in the United States. And I don't want to leave Grambling out because Grambling was in that group also.
Well, Coach, you know, you talked about being a very, very fast guy, but after your career, your illustrious career at Lincoln, you had an opportunity to sign a pro contract and go to training camp with the Minnesota Vikings. And, of course, being the athlete you were, was timed at one of the fastest on the team in the 60-yard dash.
Well, what the Vikings had, they had a system where when you come in, they would run the 50-yard dash in full pads. And to my surprise, I ended up being that player that had the fastest time in the 50-yard dash at that time at Minnesota. This was 1966, and the time was 5.9 in full pads. And that was enough to get me a solid sign with the Vikings. Would have made it, got put in a position to run kickoffs and punts back, was one of the best. But as they say, when you're a pro, you can't make mistakes. So as a result, I made one. We were playing the Detroit Lions in New Orleans, and lo and behold, the ball was kicked in the lights, and I dropped the punt. And then from that point on, as you know, it was history. Then I had an opportunity to go to the Atlanta Falcons in 1966 at the end. The beginning of 67, I had one of the fastest time at the Atlanta Falcons training camp, which was a 4.6 at that time on grass.
Wonderful, Coach. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the second part of your life, transitioning into, of course, the educational field and coaching, because you did a tremendous job in that as well. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Sports Visions. We're continuing with Coach Davis, our Where They Now feature of the week. And, Coach, we got everybody through, of course, your early years in high school and college and into the pros. And, again, the transition that's so hard to make when you get invited to professional camp. You had a break, and a special person came into your life and really is responsible for you having the great career you had as a coach and as an educator.
Well, and I think this is well deserving to be talked about. I remember when I was training to get ready for the Atlanta Falcons, and this was back in 1967, Mr. Charleston noticed me running, who was the principal at that time at Carver High School. He noticed me training in the back of the school. So he came out of his office, walked around to the back where I was working out, and said, young man, if you don't make it with the Atlanta Falcons, you got a job. I want to offer you a job. I said, Mr. Charleston, I'm going to be frank with you. I don't want to teach. I don't want to play pro football. Well, training camp started, went to mini camp, did extremely well. Then when training camp started, we were in Black Mountain, Tennessee, and they had about 100 players trying to make it. And at that time, they had a quota to get to. It wasn't like, you know, if you're good, they're going to put you because you're good. You could be good, but they just had a quota. They were going to pick players that had been in other teams and been in the league. They were going to pick them, and I was a rookie coming in. And lo and behold, just about the middle of August, I got released from the Atlanta Falcons. When I got released, it was on Telewire. One day it said, Wallace Davis, outstanding player, stand a good chance of making the team. Next day, it came out, Wallace Davis had just been released. And Mr. Charleston heard this on the news. And when he heard it on the news, at that moment, he went to my brother's house where I was staying, but I hadn't come from the Falcon because I was just flying out and trying to get back home. He told my brother that, look, when your brother come home, that I have a job and I want to offer him a job. Well, when I got in about 12 o'clock at night. In leaving the Falcons, there was the defensive secondary coach told me that I was good enough to play in the league, but the situation wasn't geared for me at the Falcons, and he called Tom Fears at the New Orleans Saints and told him that I need to get a shot. His name was Johnny Simax. Well, I came back home that night thinking that I perhaps would leave early in the morning to fly into New Orleans, but before I could get up that morning, Mr. Charleston was at my door. He knocked on my door and said that, look, you remember when you were working out in the back of the school? I told you I'd give you a job. Well, I'm here to give you that job. 7 o'clock in the morning, I said, Mr. Charleston, I'm going to New Orleans at 12. I got a flight out of here. He said, you're going with me. So he said, get in my car. I got in his car, and then we went to the school board. We went into Mr. Shaw, who was the superintendent at the time, office. And he said, Mr. Shaw, this is the young man I want to hire. And in 1967 was the beginning of my coaching career at Carver High School. And thanks goodness to Mr. Charleston, who made me, I couldn't get out of it, take the job as a teacher and an assistant coach at Carver High School.
Well, Coach, for the sake of time, obviously, I could talk to you all day, but we want to make sure that I get in this interview, the thousands of lives that you've touched as a coach and over nearly 40 years of service. I just want to commend you on being the mentor, the teacher, the big brother, the father figure to so many athletes that, of course, not just athletes that played for you at Hardaway or Carver, but wherever you were, if a kid played at another school and didn't feel that their coach helped them out, you didn't send them away. You did what you could to help them.
Well, at that time, it didn't matter with me because I know how it was with me starting. And there were several kids, even when I was in college, I used to come back and take players to Lincoln University, and the coach, on my recommendation, would sign them. And I felt that with the time that I had growing up, trying to get a start, trying to get an education, it would have been a catastrophe if I didn't help young people that came under me to do the same thing.
Well, Coach, I tell you again, I commend you because you not only have you coached pro football players, you have coaches that are coaching in the NFL, coaching on the Division I level, coaching high school. You have successful men and women, fathers and mothers that you have gone under your tutelage. And again, I just want to commend you for the great job that you've done in all the great years.
I appreciate you, D. And you're one of those players that stood out as a ninth grader, my first year as the head coach at Carver High School. You're one that stood out against all odds. We had probably the worst athletic program in this city. You could have gone to any high school and been an All-American. But because of the fact that you were dedicated to your area and your friend, you came to Carver High School, and when a news writer asked you a question once, and I'll never forget it, he said, how can you play on this losing team and with these losers? You said to that news writer that losing is an individual thing, and I'm a winner. And as I watch you, I saw you develop. I saw you be one of the first players from this city to go to the University of Georgia, be the first quarterback that played at Georgia, black. Then move from the University of Georgia up to the Green Bay Packers. When you got drafted by the Green Bay Packers, you came to me in the summer. And we worked out while I was at a boys club. I never will forget it. And how you worked to make that team was against the odds. And it came out to be a tremendous product. There were other players that came along that had disadvantages. But for some reason, I got caught into a situation where players that had disadvantages would get the upper rail because they worked harder having disadvantages in situation to get where they need to go. Nate Odoms, never would have thought he would have played and got drafted in the second round, played a position that was unbelievable. Turned out to be a tremendous quarterback and turned out to be a tremendous all-pro defensive back. You take Brunson Buckner. People laughed at Buckner. Too big, sorry, called him all kinds of names. But I told the group one day, we were having a meeting, I said, this very guy you all are criticizing, he'll play pro football. Not only did he play, he ended up playing outstandingly. He went from the Pittsburgh Steelers being drafted in the second round to San Francisco 49ers, from the 49ers to, I think he went through Kansas City, then to Carolina, and turned out to be one of the few players that has played in the Super Bowl. And I can go on and name many numerous of players, but they all had some different from what the average person will have. They had the ability to have a vision at first and then work through the hard part of the vision. And then whatever was there, make it happen. Kind of like this show. As I see this show develop and get stronger and stronger, I remember this is one of the shows that I can say you, Daryl, and Dale did it you all way. You made it happen. And I'm so proud to see the progress this show has made and the attitude that you all show toward our young people here in this city, from football, junior high school, football, high school, girls sports. No other element in this city or no other group in this city is doing the things that you all do. And whenever I get an opportunity to talk about how I got started, I would be less than a human being to hold back how this show got started. It came from nowhere, and now you're almost there.
Coach, we certainly appreciate you, and I know that, man, like I said, we could talk on and on, but ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Coach Wallace Davis.
Thank you very much.
Come into Chester's Barbecue for our world-famous mouth-watering ribs, smoked fresh on our grill daily. Or try one of our barbecue pork plates with fresh sides. Chester's has delicious sandwich combos to choose from that are sure to please. We also serve tempting home-cooked favorites. And don't forget to take home your own bottle of great sauce. Chester's Barbecue, serving the best food at the best price, with 3 locations to serve you.
Are you 21 and older? Do you have a passport? If so, here's your chance to enter to win a free 4-day, 3-night, all-inclusive stay for 2 to the Live Aqua Beach Resort in Cancun, Mexico, courtesy of PNB Broadcasting, Sports Visions Radio, and Lumpkin Travel Services. All you have to do is register at the following local businesses in Columbus and Phoenix City: Complete Tire Services, Forrest B. Johnson and Associates, Headquarter Nissan, Academy Sports and Outdoors, and German Food Gifts, and more. We'll be picking 2 lucky qualifiers per week from sponsor locations for 6 weeks, each Monday and Thursday on the Sports Visions radio show to win a Cancun Sports Visions prize package. The lucky grand prize giveaway winner will be announced during Sports Visions radio show on November 14th. What are you waiting for? Register to win today.
And welcome back to today's final segment of Sports Visions. Dale, I tell you, I really enjoyed, of course, hanging out on the campus of Auburn. Of course, the Auburn Tigers, man, I tell you, they are no way any friends with the Georgia Bulldogs this time of the week.
This week, DJ, no, we're not friends this week.
But once again, I want to thank Coach Bruce Pearl for allowing us to shoot the stand-up here in the arena, because obviously it's a lot warmer in here. It's probably about 72 degrees inside, and it's about 40 degrees outside. So, Dale, I think that I appreciate Coach Pearl and the Auburn staff for allowing us to do this.
I mean, really, we appreciate it, really, because it's cold outside, DJ.
It is cold indeed, but once again, want to wish the best of luck to the players and the coaches that are in the high school playoffs, of course, the locals teams as well. But again, Dale, when you come down to the South's oldest rivalry, we got to get a prediction in right now. Are you ready for me to get mine?
You go first.
All right, this is what I predict. I predict that the Georgia offense will wake up once again, and they will not only wake up, but they'll be better than they were against Florida. And I have them beating Auburn 31-21.
I'll go with a 21-17.
All right.
Georgia.
Well, that's going to do it for all the time we have for today's show. For Dale Williams, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball. Have a great week.